Oh, he'd maybe show up.
He might get all three positions for the election.
There you go. We'll call the annual meeting in Norm
If you're
Economic
not showing
Development
up.
Authority for Tuesday, January 8, 2019, 8 a.m. to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. We do have a quorum, so we'll go on to item number 2, election of officers. First officer is president. Anybody like to have the job? Cat is a quiet.
Somebody has the job.
Do we have any nominations for president?
I'll nominate Charlie Schmitz as president.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we do them all at once, or?
I think we can do them all at once.
Okay. Second is look for a nomination for vice president.
I can't make all of them. Susan things.
I'll nominate Sue Fix.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll go on to secretary treasurer. Do we have any nominations? And we can nominate people if they're in here.
You can nominate them to a lot of things, right? I'll offer nomination to Mike Schwartz.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for Mike Schwartz. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll cease nominations. All in favor of the people nominated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I don't know if that was 100% correct, but it worked.
It'll work.
All right, we'll go on to item number 3. Approval of the minutes from the regular EDA meeting held on December 11, 2018.
I'll move them.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 4 from the EDA staff regarding administrative activities during the month of December 2018. Heather?
Right, good morning. You have received reports for the various programs administered by the EDA. I guess the biggest highlight for you this month is the Garden Terrace window issue. We think we have hopefully resolved that. Lloyd management staff went over to Garden Terrace last week and inspected several apartments. And they did find 4 apartments in the northwest wing, 3rd floor, Garden Terrace 2, with moisture issues. They identified that in those apartments that the weep holes of the windows were clogged, and that, sorry, I have their email here. The weep holes act as the drains for the windows, and so when those are clogged, the moisture has no way to get out. So they took care of that issue, and they gave those tenants their contact information so they can get a hold of them if they're having the moisture issues again, but they do plan to follow up with those units in about a month and check on how things are looking. So hopefully we have found a resolution to that issue with the mold and moisture in those units. One apartment, they did provide a dehumidifier to the tenants and showed them how to use it, and the tenants were happy with that. So we did explore installing an air exchanger in that unit. This is the corner unit on 3rd floor that had the worst issue. But we were told there wasn't enough room to install an air exchanger without significant expense and modification to the building, the exterior wall, and it would change the look of the building. So we decided that probably wasn't going to be a viable route to go. So we did provide the dehumidifier, and we'll see how that goes. So any questions on that or anything else?
I received that email as well from Lloyd Management, and I have to admit I was pretty impressed with they stepped up right away. They got over there, they took a look at what was going on, and I kind of submitted, after our last meeting, I submitted a letter to them saying, here are the concerns that I'm hearing from the tenants. And as Heather pointed out, she's not the building manager, and I appreciate that because that was true. I mean, so it needed to go where it needed to go, and they stepped up and followed up and came in and it appears they've taken care of the issue and the problems. And I think the tenants, I have not heard anything from the tenants since, so I'm hoping everything is taken care of. But they did find one more, so there was 4, but they did do a search of that whole area, and that appears to be the isolated area of those 4 different apartments. So I think we took care of it, so glad we were able to get them back on track.
Great. Anything else, Heather?
I don't have anything else to report.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns?
I'll make a motion accepting the Economic Development Authority administration activities for the month of December 2018.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5A, receive a schedule of approval for year-to-date 2019 annual plan and schedule public hearing on the adoption of the plan. Heather?
All right, this is an annual item where we go over our policies for our programs and strategies for meeting the local housing needs and goals. There's 2 parts of the PHA plan. There's a 5-year plan, which is updated every 5 years, and the annual plan. We're on our last year of this 5-year plan, so this is an annual plan. Next year will be a 5-year plan. So we use the HUD template to fill out our annual plan, highlight changes for the upcoming year, and then we're required to have a public hearing on the plan before it's adopted. So asking you to set a public hearing for the meeting on April 9th. In the meantime, I'll have some meetings with the program participants to get their feedback on our annual plan, and I'll bring the draft to you at the March meeting. And then April 9th will be the public hearing and adoption of the annual plan. So this is really just going over the schedule. I am in the process of updating the policies for both the public housing and the Section 8 programs. Those policies haven't been updated since 2010. There are a lot of updates. So I hope to show you the proposed changes in March prior to the public hearing in April. And then at that time, then we would be adopting the updated policies in April.
Thank you. Any questions for Heather? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
I'll offer the motion to approve the schedule.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5B, consider motion authorizing payment of the public housing program claims. You have in front of you, no significant changes of any kind?
No elevator bill.
No elevator bill.
It tends to go up and down.
I'll make a motion authorizing payment of the public housing program claims for January 8th, 2019, in order filed.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 6A, consider approval of the final draft of the home buyer assistance loan program. Chris?
Well, before you, you have the final version of the homebuyer assistance loan program. The changes that were made since the last update is there will be a 5-year term of deferment. That way, the loan doesn't calculate into their income debt ratio when they're applying for the home loan. And then I took out the new home student incentive, so there is no kind of forgiveness of this loan. It's just up to $10,000, and you have 5 years to pay it back. And then for your consideration, we're asking for $50,000 for the first round or for the first year. It'll be first come, first serve. We'll figure between 5 to 7 loans, this $50,000 will probably cover. And then next year, when it comes around, if you want to add funds to it, you can, or you can skip a year and then put 50,000 in, in year 3. It's really up to you, because essentially we won't be receiving any funds from this for 5 years. And then essentially in 10 years' time, we will have the 50,000 back, and then it'll kind of be replenishing itself at that point.
Sounds great. Any questions for Chris?
This is the program that you've had the most little interest in, just by the notes from the media, and
Yes.
and how would we plan to advertise this?
We'll probably get together with all the banks and the brokers in town and have a meeting with them. We can put it out in the newspaper, ad in the newspaper, Facebook. We can send out a nixle as well.
I've received a number of calls from realtors and other lenders, and I think there's a lot of anticipation of this program getting rolled out. The one question I would propose for the committee is, do we want to consider an overall goal of where we would want to fund this? I know Chris and I talked about that 5-year thing, and I know that it puts, until money starts coming back in, we're kind of in this gray area. So I didn't know if we'd want to talk about the possibility. What I would suggest is let's see how year 1 goes, how fast the money goes. And maybe after that time, a little later this year, we talk about subsequent funding years so that we have an ultimate goal for what that fund balance would be once it's fully funded. But it's going to take 5 years before the money starts streaming back in, unless we see some early payoffs, which is not too likely given this scenario. I imagine these are going to be typically first-time buyers, and they've got a little more time in the house before they probably think about upgrading their homes or whatever. So I think it's realistic that most of these loans will not see any sort of repayment initiated until that 5-year period is up. So the other thing I would offer is that we could, when we offer these funds, offer an incentive for people for early pay back. They can start repaying the loan sooner if they wish. It's just that there's no obligation to do so. So that if somebody wants to start paying the loan back early and they have the means to do so, we would permit that to occur.
Any other comments, concerns?
No, I think people are going to like it, just based on the phone calls I've gotten, so.
Well, great. Nobody
I'm going to
else?
offer a motion then to approve the final draft for homebuyer assistance loan program and determine the 2019 allocation of funds for the program
Of 50,000?
of 50,000. I'm sorry, yeah.
And I will
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 7A, excuse me. Consider approval of final draft of down payment assistance for the Garden Terrace resident program.
All right.
Chris?
So this one is fairly straightforward. The only modification to this one was we put a $200 credit towards down payment instead of a portion of your rent is taken. So it's just a $200 credit up to $5,000. Regardless of apartment size. So basically about 2 years you can get the full amount of the $5,000 towards the purchase of a home. I put $25,000 annually will be given as a first come first served basis, but if no one uses that money, we'll just roll over into the next year. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same program that was brought forth since day one.
So
Sounds great.
when
Go ahead.
does this become effective? Because if I was looking at this, I would say, oh, I've been there for 2 years, that totals up to, $200 a month.
That'll be up to you to decide. I know we had looked at possibly starting at January 1st of 2018 as the official start date, or you can start it essentially January 1st of this year, and they can start accruing those credit. Up to you how you want to do that.
Should we not have something in here?
We can put that in there as the effective date, but the effective date will be whatever you guys say it is, and because we're the one keeping track of the credit,
Okay.
so
So basically, we'll make the decision today, right
yeah,
now.
where you want to start
That's
it.
it.
And I recall in our past conversations, is this something that a tenant would have to express interest in and saying, I want to be part of that program? Or is it everyone automatically enrolled?
That we've been on the fence about that. It's easier if just everyone's automatically enrolled. Then it's just part of the lease. You automatically get this. If you move out, you lose it. If you want, you're already part of it. That way, you don't have to go back and be like, oh, I want to be part of it. It's just you start accruing the credit the minute you
Okay,
sign
so
up.
we would say anyone who's a tenant as of when we establish that
Yeah.
date would be eligible to participate. And then any new tenant that comes in obviously would start at their day
Whatever
that they
that
sign
date.
their lease or whatever. Okay.
Mhm.
Doesn't that create a lot of extra paperwork and accounting for those? No?
No, it's just you can look how long someone's been there, and the months times $200 is how much money they get up to $5,000.
the
So if
cap.
they've been there
Okay.
longer than
Okay.
2 years, then
I didn't know if every month you had to do accounting.
Side, it'll be one spreadsheet schedule that will tie to a journal entry. So it's-
And again, similar to the other one, this one is a little different. Would we propose to do some marketing for this too? Would we get
We
the
would-
word on the street as an enticement for people to possibly come and seek?
we would give Lloyd Management the information, and they would include it in any of the flyers or brochures that they
Okay.
have when they put it out there.
This is the one I've had a little more, not problems with, but the fact that it's always full anyway. And now we're going to have more people directed towards this housing unit. Maybe it's a good problem, I don't know, but I think we had 48 on the waiting list or 58 on the waiting list already. And now with this program, I'd certainly, if I was in that age group, I'd be banging on that door to get in there too. So are we going to have now 75, 85, 100 people on the waiting list? Is that going to create a new problem that we hadn't thought about previously?
Well, with the waiting list, it's kind of an arbitrary thing.
It's true.
because
That's
if
true.
I'm on the waiting list and I need to find a place to live, I'm going to find a place to live.
Or I want a
you know,
one-bedroom, I want a
regardless.
two-bedroom.
And I'd probably still be on that waiting list. So if something does open up at Garden Terrace because of the incentive, I can, be called and move in there. But with this, it'll also help kind of act as a revolving door, because you'll have people hopefully moving out every 2-ish years instead of being there for 5-10 years at a time. Hopefully they're starting
That's
to
true.
move out
That's
every
true.
2.5 years or something like
And I think that's one of the long-term goals is to make it more of a revolving or transitory sort of situation where it is a lead up to home ownership, to give people the opportunity to come to town if they've landed their job in town, and to give them the opportunity to find a place to live, but with the goal of ultimately becoming a homeowner, and this would just be an incentive for them to do that, so. It's not going to be an overnight thing. I think
No.
we have to look 5-10 years down the road to what the dynamics are going to be at that time.
So do we have the funding to make it effective as of January of 2018 to give credit to those people who've been there the last year, so we can?
I think there's enough
Good.
money in the bank, isn't there?
Yeah.
But at some point, you would give a cutoff date that people that are there now would have to sign up if they're interested in this program by X day? Or no, you're talking
It
about
is-
people would be automatically,
Everyone there that's a current resident just automatically enrolled,
okay.
So some people theoretically.
already have the max.
Right, I mean, they already have a year under their belt at 200. So they're halfway there almost, essentially,
Yeah.
to hitting the cap.
I'll just note the majority of the tenants currently at Garden Terrace moved there because they sold their house, so they're not
Right.
interested in going back into homeownership. When we surveyed the tenants, there were realistically 4 or 5 that were actually interested currently. So I don't see this is going to be hugely popular, but
Not initially, anyway, no.
Right.
no.
Sounds good. What's your wishes? I guess I would support going back to January 1st, 2018 to get the thing rolling a little quicker.
I'll offer a motion approving the final draft for the down payment assistance for Garden Terrace Residence Program effective as of January 1st, 2018.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 8, from the Economic Development Director, Assistant City Manager regarding activities during the month of December 2018. Chris?
So, the biggest item of note is still working with Windings on their MIF and revolving loan. We're at the finish line pretty much. We're hopefully closing today, but if not, it'll be next week. And then they will be able to start their construction as soon as possible.
Sounds great. Any questions for Chris?
Hearing none, I'll offer a motion to approve the report for December.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. With no more business, meeting adjourned.